This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast.
This week's podcast is about Dr. Betty Martin's 3-Minute Game. This is a game about giving and receiving, and it's pretty cool because it's not just for romantic partners or romantic situations. This game can be used in platonic relationships, business relationships, etc. Enjoy.
Hold please for sound. Hold
Set my
please
alarm
for
for 28 minutes.
Hold please for sound.
Siri, can you remind me that Lauren gets no penis this morning?
Is that literally what it said?
Yeah, Lauren gets no penis. Done.
Lauren gets no penis.
Yeah, it's
okay,
the 35 for no one.
Want it anyway. So ungroomed and wild. It's like the frontier out there.
What? My penis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my penis hair is...
It's wild.
The craziest thing is
I love that we're calling it hair. We're not
My penis beard?
it.
The craziest thing is it's not like affecting my sex. Like if you were to cut off sex, I'd get on it a lot more.
Squeeze my legs close tight together and not give you any?
Give me any. Oh, no, You don't know. You're cut off.
Good morning, baby.
Yeah, good morning, honey.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday, Shug.
How are you feeling going into it was a full moon last night. You still feeling... Do you feel groggy when you don't sleep with a full moon?
I feel fine. Like I woke up at like probably 3, 4 in the morning and I was like, whoa, I was wide awake. And then I forced myself to go back to bed. Good. And then I just like random dreams, weird dreams, but whatever. I get affected by the moon more. Mm-hmm. Why? Because of my Enneagram?
Because you're a petite little man. Because
of my size? That's fucked up.
You're...
Because I'm closer to the equator? Is that why?
You're closer. I have no idea, but I think for the same reason that your body loves the ocean, right? Like you are called to water. It's very soothing to you. I'm sure it has something to do with that. I am sure there is a reason in your human design chart or in something that you are really affected by it. But it's got to be the same things that draw you to the ocean.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I can get affected by it, but I have to be at a certain place in my menstrual cycle too. This one, I was just out cold. It was lovely.
Your menstrual like this time?
I had finished my
night.
menstrual cycle.
Last
yeah,
night.
And so I didn't, this one, I just slept like a baby. I've also, this full moon's really exciting and I feel very, very excited about so many things I have personally and professionally on the horizon. And they feel like dreams just under the cold, hard ground. Like this whole time of year feels very symbolic for me for some reason. So I'm riding it.
Sweet.
I'm riding that wave.
Good.
And just going to let it be. So
nice.
I don't know. And we had some buddies over last night. So my heart felt really full. So yeah, I slept fine. Do you have anything... I don't know, anything been kind of coming up for us recently that you wanted to talk through? Anything that has been like a subject that we have been talking about a bunch? Anything come to your mind?
Like that we've been discussing?
Yeah, I don't know. I find we will get on like a topic that we can't stop chatting about.
Other
right?
than like TV and sex stuff? We mostly just talk about TV and sex stuff.
Do you think
and then
so?
It's like, hey, I'm going to the golf course. It's like, great, I'm going to work.
Talk about so much more darling, but way to make us seem
shallow,
like shallow, simple human beings. You're right. We do talk about, and I think lots of couples and partnerships find themselves in, talking about a lot of TV. Yeah. We could talk about for sure the 3-minute game. And the reason that it would be a real benefit to me professionally if you're willing to do this, because I share the concept of the 3-minute game with every single solitary one of my students because a few things. And we could relate it back to the times you and I have had the discussion of that you are great at serving. You sometimes serve even when I haven't asked you to help with something, right? And so we could relate that to the 3-minute game too.
Sure.
Because it definitely connects. Is
sure.
that okay with you?
Yeah.
Great. So can I give the basic premise for this game and then we can talk about our experience with it? I would love to just hear your firsthand experience with the 3-minute game. So 3-minute game is 2 questions that both partners take turns asking one another. If you're playing with more than 2 people, totally fine. I just recommend you like take turns playing with another person. It can be played with a throuple or something like that. It just gets a little technical. So
For clarification, this is an intimate game, yeah?
it doesn't have to be. I just wrote a version for a client to do with their roommate because they don't have a partner. Because of the reasons that we'll get to in a little bit. So the initial game was partner 1 asks the other, how would you like me to touch you for 3 minutes? This could be all clothed, nothing intimate. This could be a hand massage. This could be, will you brush my hair? This could be, could you scratch my back? It does not need to be sexual. I encourage that the first time it's not sexual, because the whole concept is to build trust and to practice asking for what we actually want. So again, question 1 is, how do you want me to touch you for 3 minutes? Okay. And then the person on the other side responds with how they would like to be touched for 3 minutes. Then there can be a negotiation. So if I asked you and you said, could you rub my back? I could say, absolutely. Would you like that pressure hard or soft? Then you could share. Then the person who is receiving the touch practices like luxuriating in the acceptance of the service, not stressing about, oh, this person serving me might be tired, all these things. And the person who is serving takes joy in giving a gift. Okay, so that's question 1. How would you like to be touched? How would you like me to touch you for 3 minutes? Then they switch turns. The person who was just receiving asks the other person. Then the next question is, person says, how would you like to touch me for 3 minutes? Okay. So then the responder gets to think about how they would get joy from exploring the other person's body. So now they are taking from the other partner, and the other partner gets to choose if they do or do not allow the taking from their own body. So I would say to you, how would you like to touch me for 3 minutes? And then you would say, like, can I massage your tits? Right? And I would say, do I feel comfortable with that? No, that was like, whoa, that was a jump from the back scratching. But you could...
I get to the point.
Right? But you could do a really deep tissue massage on my shoulders. And you could be like, nah, I don't really want that. I really wanted to explore your tits. And I could be like, well, okay. You could do my collarbone. And you could be like, ooh, actually, yeah, I'd love to explore your collarbone. That sounds lovely. Okay. The real juicy part can be in the negotiation sometimes, because it's very important for the person who's allowing use of their body to feel really open-hearted. So then the taker, you in this instance, spends 3 minutes just taking for their own enjoyment from their partner. And the partner on the other side is not receiving this time. They are allowing. Okay. They're allowing their body to literally be delicious and delightful to their partner, and taking joy from that, taking joy from their partner taking from them. And then you switch places and it's done. So the 2 questions are, how would you like me to touch you for 3 minutes? And then how would you like to touch me for 3 minutes?
Okay. So first one is, how would you...
I know it's the simplest words, but don't they get confusing? Yeah.
One more time, baby.
Okay. How would you like to be touched?
I would like a shoulder massage.
Great.
And then you do that for 3 minutes. And then I ask you, how would you like to be touched?
Mm-hmm. And then I say, I'd like a shoulder rub for 3 minutes.
Great. Okay. Then question 2 is, I ask, baby, how would you like to touch me?
Yeah. And then I say, can I explore your bare back? Just trace my fingernails on it.
Great. Okay.
Uh-huh. And then I say, how would you like to touch me for 3 minutes?
Oh, let me play with your butt cheeks, but PG-13.
Great. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's so fun for so many reasons. I had clients play it the other day who've been married for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. And one of the partners said to the other, you want to do what to me? And the partner said, yeah. And the other one said, you've never done that before. And the partner said, you've never asked me how I want to touch you.
Can you share what it was?
No.
Okay.
Confidentiality.
Great.
But isn't that fun?
Was it a turn on for the partner? That
Such a turn on.
So the surprise was, okay.
The partner said, "Can I?" And they said, "Yeah."
Oh, wow.
So then
okay.
it became delightful.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, it's so simple. And I know it sounds so juvenile. And I have had so many clients report back that the first time felt awkward and clunky and silly. And yet, the more they practiced it, the more it just became like almost habitual. And that's where like the money is, because isn't that what sexy communication should be too?
And I can relate to that because like the first time you brought it up to me, I'm like, "Wah, it sounds corny." And then we played it. We've only played it one time, right, babe? Yes. Fuck me. And then we played the game and
Share.
What were your positives about the time that we played it, and then like what were things that you kind of was there anything you had to work through, or were there any negatives?
I'm gonna answer because I think it gives you freedom to answer, but I really want to hear your thoughts because I feel like I've talked so much already. Hardest thing for me was being still during the service and not thinking about, is he bored of doing this thing for 3 minutes, right? Just accept, just luxuriate in this service.
So like receiving, that was a challenge to receive. Me too. It was a challenge to receive because I get in my head sometimes like,
You're so far away from your microphone.
It was a challenge to receive because I've gotten in my head in the past, like past lovers, where it's receiving pleasure is a bit of a challenge for me. I'm more comfortable giving it.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
I guess because in the giving, you're more active versus like having to be passive. So yeah.
The creator of this modality says that there's more control in the giving and in the taking. That it's scarier in the receiving. You're not in control of the sexual encounter.
I get in my head.
Yeah. Which I think is the most fascinating thing to think about.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's like, I mean, yeah, I get in my head.
Uh-huh. Isn't that neat? Yeah.
What I'm holding back is like sometimes blowjobs in the past for me, I get in my head and then like in my mind, it's like, you need to come. She's been down there for like 10 minutes and then it just kind of fucks everything up.
This is why this modality is
versus just enjoying getting suckled upon.
Suckled?
Sucked up upon? Sucked up hippopotamus? Blowjob Rex.
Yeah.
Blowjobosaurus.
I love oral sex, and suckled is not blah. Anyway, yes, right? I would say exactly the same. Receiving oral sex, not worrying about the comfortability of the person providing the oral sex for you. Oh my gosh. That I think it's one of the top things that gets in the way for most humans receiving oral sex.
It's common.
Right?
It's so common.
Absolutely. And
I gotta hurry up and finish because this person's working so hard.
Yes, and so here's a fascinating topic that I share from this Wheel of Consent, which is the modality that came out of this 3-minute game. I would love to help people with it. It's my favorite thing. I think that conscientious lovers are afraid of not being outside of the taking quadrant. I think they're afraid of it turning into like a you get down on your knees and get right. They're not going to do that. They don't want to be a forceful, non-consensual taking thing. So I think they're so afraid of taking pleasure, right? That they go to not being able to receive pleasure, which is what's so fascinating, right? It's not non-consensual. It's like, here, I'm giving you a gift. Would you like it? Right? But then we get into our heads and then it takes us out of the moment. And then we don't get to have the orgasm that we were originally like so desirous of. So that's why the 3-minute game is so fun to play. I enjoy, tell me how you enjoyed the time bound aspect. Like this is going to end. Like the person's going to be okay because it ends. How did that feel in your body?
It goes by quick. Yeah. You set an alarm and it goes by quick.
So fast.
Is that allowed? Say, like, you get down on your knees, some type of like power thing, like a power dynamic. Is that allowed within the 3-minute game?
Sure. If somebody said, "How would you like?"
Because you're
me
allowed
to
to you're
touch
allowed
you?
to say to your partner, like, no, that doesn't work for me. Isn't that a slippery slope where it's like, but this is what I want? Yeah. Okay.
So one of the other things that's so neat to learn through this game is what we're afraid to ask for. Because sometimes Dr. Betty Martin will say, we obsess so much over the response that's going to come back to us that we don't ask for it in the first place. So one of the reasons, baby, that I encourage people to play this game is for exactly that reason, that they would love to see what it feels like to have their partner on their knees giving a blowjob. But they've always been kind of scared because they didn't want to be a derogatory lover, right? Maybe they work on dismantling that kind of toxic sexuality in their relationship.
Okay.
Right? Say it's hetero. And the man is like, I've never wanted her to feel like that. And yet it's an erotic turn on of mine. We were just talking about this, right? Okay. What you would demonstrate against during the day is sometimes really hot in the bedroom.
Red light. What's the red light district
Let me
analogy?
into your red light district.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So perhaps it is a turn on to him, right? Cisgendered male lover. But he doesn't want ever his wife to feel degraded. So he's never asked for it because he doesn't want her to feel like that. What if she'd be totally down to give that?
Yeah, what if it would make her hot?
What if she's like, you've never asked for that. I would love to give that.
Same thing your client said, yeah.
Right?
It was a surprise. It was a nice surprise.
Because within this modality...
Okay, but what's the opposite end of the spectrum where it's like, you want what? What if you get a bunch of negative pushback for being super vulnerable? Does that blow up the game? Do you and your babe get in a fight now?
Not as bad as the intimacy cards, so I don't know.
Intimacy cards.
Intimacy cards, destroying long-term partnerships forever. I always say that if it does blow up in your face, well, then you're welcome. You have a much bigger conversation that needs to be had. I'm sorry. You need to be working with a sexuality educator, or you need to be working on communication.
Yes, that's true. That's the long-term solution. But if like two people are, I don't know, trying to spark up like an intimate thing, or just trying to come and then go about their day, it's a scary ask, babe. I know that's the long-term solution that you said, but
What do you mean? Is this good? Yeah, unpack this for me because this is good.
if I don't, I'm speaking in the third person because I don't have scary asks that I haven't fucking asked you already. Shout out marriage and shout out healthy communication.
I just love when you do shout outs. They usually get a hand gesture. Shout out.
I like the point.
Okay. You can point. Shout out marriage.
I had a hard point, and I'm just looking out for my people that are really, because I've been there in the past, and I've been there with you too. Until it gets broached, I'm looking out for my people that are almost certain that it's going to lead to more trouble than it's worth.
Okay.
And then it's going to blow up the whole thing in the moment too. This whole 3-minute game, it's volatile.
Right.
Well, what's the solution to volatility? Do you just temper? Do you just kind of, oh, okay, so
Yeah, this is fascinating.
yeah, you just, I guess maybe the first time, just like anything else, you kind of dip your toes in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I knew you would come to this answer on your own.
I would solve it myself by talking around in circles.
You do not play naked in the bedroom first then. Do not. Right.
So you can do it in the car.
Graduated wrist, do it in the car.
Oh, sure. You can do it in the car and then just, boop, 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 boop.
I made a completely generic version for roommates that's almost more like a game. Like, how can I serve you for 3 minutes? And it's like, will you make me a sandwich? Yeah. Right. I mean, will you take out the trash? Like, set a 3-minute timer?
Oh, cool.
Yeah. No, it could be a game.
It doesn't have to involve physical touch.
And then how would you like to take from me? How can you take from my time for 3 minutes, right? And so I came up with this very long list. Can I ask you some questions and get your honest answers? Can I turn on music and you have a dance party with me? Things that are inherently happy to us, joyful to us. How would you like to take from a partner? And then I do say, if there is not enough safety in your relationship to be asking these types of questions, there are some deeper things going on that you deserve to get to work through. You do. Relationships should get to be, we were just talking about this the other day, not heavy and like a burden. Partnership should get to be fun and wonderful. I think it's this lie that we've been told that like, whoa, that marriage is hard. It's like, yeah, there are seasons of difficulty, but I truly believe that we could be, if we just put a little bit of effort in, the reward can be so great.
Lifting heavy weights is hard, but the kind of the euphoria you get and then the results that you get over time, the hard thing becomes enjoyable.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, anything hard repeated over time becomes easy.
Yeah, trained for, practiced
Yeah.
for, right? Yeah. Sports are such a perfect example, or weightlifting or something like that. Such a perfect example. The people who do a couch to 5K type of challenge, right? I love those because it's like just incremental stretches of running. And you'll see people.
It becomes enjoyable,
It's
then it
fascinating.
becomes life-changing.
I can't run. I'm always like, maybe I could do that though.
What do you tell somebody that like their partner doesn't want to do the work?
Willing to provide. It's okay to have needs. We say this all the time, right? Like, we are humans. We should have needs. We should have wants. We should have desires. But the responsibility to know what those are falls on our shoulders. And so I think so often people don't have these conversations in the beginning of relationships so that A, they can continue, but B, so that both parties know what they're actually getting into.
We had a lot of like brutally honest conversations at the beginning of our
Jump.
relationship. And I think one of the reasons we didn't fucking talk it out like, oh, we need to do this. But I've never done that prior. Had you ever done that prior?
No, but it was something I was not going to budge on this time.
Yeah.
Like,
I wanted to put it all out there, especially our stakes were so much higher because I was going to move to you to be with you.
Yeah.
This wasn't like get to know each other in the same city on the weekends.
well, yeah, and there were so many fascinating, our souls felt connected, right? We're always like, we must have known each other in some past life. Our souls felt connected, but both of us are too rational and logistic brained to be like,
Sorry, fucker.
so you,
God damn it. Then it goes into sleep.
you're going to be
Gonna do it again.
spanked later.
Both of us.
Spanked?
No, I mean, both of us are so...
Yeah. So both of us, yes, we felt like we had known each other for forever, but are so logistically brained and rational.
We're also in our mid-30s, too.
Yeah. That we were both like,
We've been through it.
Sure, it sounds so lovely. Move across the country for love. Moving for love. Shout out. But we knew we needed to have some tough conversations, and I agree with you. I think the cross-country move forced us to have some really practical conversations like, hey, I need space. I need to not be your everything. I need, right? I think we both had human need conversations very early on. But we were having them also on our initial date in San Diego and at our weekend away. And we weren't talking logistics then. We were talking theory, sure. But it was very clear to me from the jump, why am I using that phrase so often, that you knew yourself. You knew your needs. And it was very attractive to me because then I got to say, are those ones that I'm interested in providing? It is not wrong to be uninterested in being the type of partner that somebody needs. I would be very bold to say it's actually more unethical for you, human being, to get into a relationship with someone knowing what their needs are and pretending in the beginning. I think we're also desperate for belonging, desperate for what this culture applauds, which is especially partnership or monogamy or marriage, right? That we sacrifice our own individuation to get into these partnerships just for clout, just to have a boyfriend or just to have a girlfriend or just to have a label. And I think it's heartbreaking because not only are we sacrificing our own needs, we are doing a wrong to somebody else who deserves to have their own needs too. Then we have breakup culture, which like celebrates this like mean-spirited dragging another person's name through the mud, instead of, could it just be that y'all had different needs and wants? I feel like I just went on a soapbox. Thanks. Go back to the 3-minute game. You went in thinking it was going to be the corniest exercise. You were like...
Not the corniest
you
exercise,
were doing
but corny.
it to indulge me. You were being very sweet. I said, can we please play this?
I was saying yes. I was saying sure.
Yeah. But where along the lines did it change? How did it leave you?
It was just so hot. It was such a like turn on and build up, and then we had to stay within the frame of the exercise, where if it was me rubbing your hand, what I really wanted, I couldn't get at that time. What's that called?
A barrier, right?
Yeah.
So that's another one of the, we hadn't even talked about this.
Bears are very hot.
It's so hot, right? It's kind of like being teenagers and being like, we shouldn't, we can't.
Yeah.
Right? And in long-term partnerships especially, there's none of that. There's no like restrictions.
We got to create barriers. Yeah. It creates barriers, which was a huge turn on.
It was I haven't seen you like that in so long. It was so fun, right? Because it was like, no, we agreed upon a consensual time frame of, no, you can only do this, right, for 3 minutes. And by the end of that 3 minutes, it was very hot. It was very, very hot.
How was your experience with the game?
So gratifying. Yeah. I think one of my favorite things ended up being taking from you, because oftentimes I love touching you.
Which one's taking? Is that giving or receiving?
It's receiving.
Receiving, okay.
Yeah.
Taking from, okay.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? That it's an act of receiving. So I was taking from your body purely for my pleasure, right? I'm trying to remember what I asked to do. It might have been like kiss on your chest and explore your chest. And to be able to sit there and think, this is just for me, right? Like, I get to explore. I get to be curious. I don't need to, you'll tell me, right? Like if I hurt you, but I just get to soak this up. It's not about you. It's literally not about you. I just get to enjoy it.
The other side, when it's time to receive, it's 3 minutes, and then it is about just laying back and receiving that touch from your partner, which is so nice if you can successfully kind of click your brain over to, it's just time for this. Yes. It's almost like vacation.
Yes.
It's like a little 3-minute vacation. If you can click your brain over to allowing yourself to receive.
Yeah. So when you were taking from me too, it was very freeing, which I hope this connects to some audience members. Sometimes when you are taking from me and I'm in a sexual encounter with you, I will get in this weird performative mode where I'm like wondering if I should arch my back more or moan for you to make you think that I enjoy this, or like look at you sexy, or I wonder what I look like. And I really get into this weird performance brain. And when I knew that you were taking from my body in a way that you wanted to, and that all I needed to do was lay back and allow you to take how you wanted to take, it was so damn sexy. I was like, I don't need to do anything. Like, he's having a good time because he's getting exactly what he wanted, like what he asked for. And I've already said yes. I don't need to like signal. Like, this is, because it's not receiving. Do you hear the difference? Like, it's not for me. I don't need to moan to make him feel proud of what he's doing that's for me. It's not for me. The gift that I'm giving right now is an allowance of my body. And that brain shift, mind-blowing. I don't need to moan. No, just give. Like, give this gift. Allow him to receive this gift, which is the taking. And so great. Because we should be able to do that. We should be able to take from our partners, like, oh, I want to grab that ass, right? And not have the partner be like, oh, that feels so good all the time. Yeah,
we can give and receive without while being authentic and just genuine in the moment.
I love a good purposeful, like placed moan or that feels so good. Can you do more of that? I am all for that. I think that's great sexual communication. And it can get exhaustive if you're staying there in your mind where you're thinking like, oh, well, if I don't know that, they don't know that I like that. And I better keep communicating. That can get exhausting. So that was really freeing for me.
Nice.
Like, just allow him to take from you. And then it's also really hot because it's like, again, that same the client that I was referencing, you want to do what? Like, that's just really fun to be like, they like that part of me? That's really cool. Yeah. So all in all, it was really great. What would you say, like, your biggest takeaway from playing the game was?
The anticipation, the build of like when the game's over, and then being okay with like my weakness or my thing that I'm a little less uncomfortable with, being okay with that, and getting to kind of bathe in, not being okay with it, just bathe in accepting like pleasure.
Yeah. How did it make, because we did go on to have a sexual encounter post it. How did it make the sexual encounter?
That much better. It was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's a great game. We need to play it more often.
Yeah.
Highly recommend this game.
Highly recommend.
It's a little corny, like conceptually, but like once you get into it, and then if you can actually get into it, great.
Why do you think, because you had a special like shout out moment to the people who might be thinking this is corny or yada yada.
Yeah.
In your mind, like in your lived experience, why is that?
Oh, it's my cynical brain. That's what it is. It's just, I'm naturally cynical.
I think a lot of...
I'm not naturally like, oh yeah, let's see what happens. I'm naturally like, that's fucking stupid. That's where my mind goes.
Why do you think?
Because I was born that way.
Gaga, shout out.
Oh, is that a lyric? Is that a song lyric from her?
Yeah, because I find a lot of my male clients are cynical about this game. And I have theories that, yeah, our culture does not celebrate play and artistic expression, especially in people we are raising as little boys. We celebrate toughness and protection and these things. And this does take a lot of vulnerability. And I heard you say that earlier. So shout out to any person who's pushing through that, because I think it's harder. I do. And so I want there to be an element of respect here. I don't roll my eyes at the people who are resistant to this game. They're resistant to this game because the systems that we've been raised in make people raised in boy bodies very resistant to these things.
Yeah, just say yes. And if it sucks, it's 12 minutes also.
You can do
I
anything.
did the math.
You did the math.
Yep.
Yeah, it's 12. Good job. Thanks for chatting about this, baby. I
Welcome,
really
man.
appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
I will share this podcast far and wide with our tens of listeners. I love you.
Love you too.
Have a great Monday.
Mwah.
Mwah. The opinions expressed on this podcast are just that, opinions. We encourage you to take what you like and leave the rest. We love research and hope you do your own. We hope that our successes and failures enable you to build the partnerships you dream about. So I like to take a little minute just at the end of these podcasts to talk about the platform that we use for our podcast called Anchor. When we were first getting into the scene of podcasting, I didn't know much, but did a simple Google search and found that by just uploading one high-res video to Anchor's platform, it does the rest of the work for me, pushes out the audio and video to every platform podcast users use. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd love to tell you more about Anchor.